200 kilometers northwest of Windhoek, Namibia's capital, stands the Orongo Mountains. "60 million years ago, a huge magma bubble solidified just before a massive volcanic eruption occurred. Due to wind, sun, cold, water and ice ages, softer soil layers were removed and the hard magma core was eroded. A so-called ring intrusion was created as the softer middle was eroded faster than the harder edge. A figure similar to that of a giant volcano was created. A bizarre landscape with the typical large stone balls that are formed by extreme temperature differences by day and night, with craggy cliffs and lovely sandy valleys of trees, rivers and plains was created. This landscape presents the Orongo Mountains today. Even in prehistoric times, the caves and overhangs were a gathering and retreat of the Bushmen, the San people. Countless rock carvings of hunting scenes and dance rituals can still be witnessed. When the huge magma bubble cooled down, cracks and fissures were created in the rock. Water penetrated and fused the rock. Chambers containing mineral fluid could grow countless different rock crystals: aquamarine, smoky quartz, tourmaline, fluorides, rock crystals and other rare minerals are hidden deep in the Orongo Mountains. We became aware of the Smallminers during a stay at the Hohenstein Lodge, who held residence at the southwestern foot of the Hohenstein's highest Orongo Mountains. The Hohenstein Lodge exhibits beautiful minerals that have been found. The Hohenstein Lodge also offers daily tours, led by a tour guide for interested tourists. So we made the trip to experience the everyday work of the Smallminers at Hohenstein. Early in the morning, before the sun drives the temperatures during the day up to about 40 degrees, we set off. The journey covers the farm area of the lodge. It goes through the dry grass savanna and rocky riverbed passages. Big and impressive, the Hohenstein presents itself beautifully. The sun slowly expels the shadows of the night from the gorges of the massif. The mountain appears in red and bronze tones. The first mountainous stage of the so-called boulder forest immediately draws us under its spell. Stone balls bizarrely have been piled up in a particular vegetation. Dense networks of roots clutch the rocks. This is an enchanted scenery. Hyrax and Tamara dictics rustle in the undergrowth every now and then. Baboons' outraged rants are heard from a tree somewhere in the distance. Slowly we come closer to the steep wall of the Hohenstein Massif. We believe we see a man sitting up on a high cliff. Soon we reach the base camp of the Smallminer. Smallminers, who are small-scale commercial mine owners who look to the slopes of the mountains for the so-called pockets, burrow inside the mountain where the coveted crystals grow. The Smallminers mostly come from the region in the Tamaraland and leave this region when they have discovered a promising piece of the mountain to claim as their own. The smell of campfire thickens in our noses. A Smallminer beckons to us friendly and invites us to come closer. They have just prepared the morning tea and are interested in what we want to achieve with so much camera equipment on the mountain.
John, Emil, warum?
Ich verstehe den nicht, aber er hat schon recht.
As we tell them that they are our reason for being here, they want us to further explain our plans.
We come tomorrow. We come to your pocket.
Come look. Tomorrow, ne?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yes, yeah.
Tomorrow we come in the morning and then the whole day.
Okay. Okay. Barnabas, yours, 3, 4.
The next morning, spontaneously they are willing to take us to their mines in the mountain. We find out that there are several groups on the mountain. Overall, about 30 people work at the Hohenstein who have pitched their camp at various locations. The mines are currently all located quite high on the steep granite wall. We are surprised that one small miner takes a bunch of empty cans to the mountain. We assumed that everything must be brought up: gasoline, tools, food, firewood and water. However, we are told up there is a water reservoir.
Now the people they used to call this one nuams. That is meaning the black mouth. So if the people they tell you there is water there, the black mouth, then you know they are talking about this hole.
During the rainy season, the water collects in some of the previously created tunnels and drinking water systems arise. Months after, the rainwater is still available on the mountain.
Take it.
Hallo.
Oh yeah.
Many small natural depressions and washes out on the granite surface in the Orongo Mountains hold water for weeks or months. This means that animals can survive up here. A short time later, the ascent is so steep that one can only go further with the aid of safety ropes. We must pay attention to the rubble ahead in order not to slip or to endanger those behind. Next up, we reach another camp of a small miner. Here we meet Ricardo, who surprised us with a complete household. Not only does he have a dog on the mountain here, he also has a cat. And that already since 9 years.
Is a man. Yeah. Okay.
He is very obedient, listens well to commands, and is called Simba. The 4 mine owners, Ricardo, Ferdinand, Ebsen and Arnold, share a mountain-top apartment here. They have cell phones, listen to the radio and read newspaper, but sometimes they say they receive these a week late. Everything is well organized. Ebsen shows us his food supplies and explains the necessity for order and cleanliness. The sleeping chambers are located in small tunnels that they have dug into the mountain. It's warm and comparatively safe. The panorama of the camp is indescribable. We find out that the dogs protect against snakes and they are also used for the hunting of hyrax, which from time to time are put on the fire for food. Just below the camp is one of the mines. Ricardo takes us to show us what work looks like on the mountain. The small miners climb easily through the almost vertical rock walls. It's much harder for us. But they are patient with us. At the first, we do not believe that is the entrance to the mine. It is the entrance. Successively, we enter the mine. The first person follows Ricardo and gives the signal for the next to follow. While climbing, we try to look out for loose gravel, but this is in vain. Oh, sorry. Our presumption of it being relatively close to the surface proves to be incorrect. We thought Ricardo had spoken of the small mine.
Can I come?
Yeah.
Wait.
That's what's called the gravel.
What?
The gravel.
Yeah. Oh shit. Sorry.
It's alright, I just get all of the stones.
Ando na helicopter man. Helicopter good. Buy a helicopter.
After 7 meters, we have arrived at the dig site and Ricardo tells us the first steps in digging for minerals. With the metal rod, they test the hardness of the rock wall.
Walkie. Boom. Yes.
The small crystals show the small miners the path they have to follow to find a pocket again. They call a small room, fill it with crystals, a pocket. Every day they work up to 8 hours within the mountain.
No minerals.
Fighting, eh? It's not fighting there.
That hole, that round, that where they were.
We're too far noch, we moet nog this one bore.
The long hours working underground has paid off. We find an aquamarine core and admire the beautiful stones.
No, they would the occasionally different one. He did not come to follow you, they would not die can stop.
We are going to the market stalls on the tourist routes. The minerals of the small miners are sold here. Only if the stone is sold is the laborer's work worth something.
And how much do you earn here a month?
Sometimes the people don't come. Sometimes they come. $200.
In a month?
Yeah.
We were shocked by how little money this hard work brings. 200 Namibia dollars per month. That corresponds about 16 euros. The seller tells us of an even larger market outside of Usakos. All rock crystals from the region are displayed here. It is unbelievable that we expect to pay only an average of €1.50 per stone. A little depressed about this evidence, we return to the mountain and talk to Epson.
My name is Epson and my surname is Donsap. I am born in 1980. I'm come on the mountain since 99, starting digging stones here. When the time when we were coming here, it was not so hard to getting stone. We just only put out some grass and then making some hole with this, and then we getting stones, many stones, go and sell in Jusakos. But now the problem is how you the time when we starting selling stones, the people was not knowing for these stones, and they was not wanting to buy on the prices that we was wanting, and the economy was also very nice, and the money was also a little bit under. Now the money is have come out, but the stones is problem now. We don't get enough stones now, because the stones are wandering, the people are wandering stones. Now the time when the people are wandering stones, that time the stones is now few. It's not so much stones what we are here.
We hear from Epson that his family lives in Dubusis. We decided to go to Dubusis with Epson and his two friends, Ferdinand and Arnold. But Ricardo has a cold and so stays on the mountain. The village is located 30 kilometers from the lodge at the foot of the western flank of the Rango Mountains. He has a younger brother who goes to school there. The Smallminers are pleased to be able to do some shopping, and Epson would like to introduce us to his family. First, we go into the small supermarket where we meet some friends.
I want to speak with them. If you do what? Dada, you must be like...
We want to pick up his little brother from school. This excites attention, of course. Like wildfire, it gets around that the camera crew is interested in the school. We will be warmly welcomed.
To see you today, let me say thank you. Our visitors, welcome, 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 welcome. Our visitors.
When going to the house of the family, they are already expecting us. Dubusis is a very poor village. The people build their own houses out of mud and corrugated iron. Here in Damaraland, they live together in large family groups. Parents, grandparents and siblings all together.
Here is my baby. You can take
Epson's
your
sister
one for
shows us her baby proudly.
Remember?
this. Here you see?
All over the world, as well in Dubusis, boys want to be firemen when they grow up. On the way from Dubusis back to the Hohenstein Lodge, we have the idea to sleep at the Smallminers camp on the mountain tonight, an evening on the rock wall of the Hohenstein. They agreed to leave us a tunnel as a sleeping chamber. In the late afternoon we set off. For some comfort during the night, we carry camping mattresses and sleeping bags on the mountain. We can hardly imagine sleeping in a more exciting place than tonight's destination. For secure access to our bed chamber in the largest and formerly most profitable mine at Hohenstein, Epson fixed ropes from the camp to the entrance of our chamber. we set up our camp and joined the small miners for dinner at the campfire.
We are friendly people. We like to be with the people together, close. On such a place, if we see you people also coming here, it's very nice for us. If you come first at the mountain, whether you not climb on the mountain, you take some tobacco, everything you have, you take it on the on something, maybe here. You put some tobacco, little ground of yeah. You put also some sugar, some maize meal, and then after putting on, then you say to the mountain, okay, mountain, we come here to digging stones. We're looking money. We are poor people. Our oldest grandfathers, please. We are looking for help for my stones, which we are looking for. Please help us. We are coming here. We are your son, and we're going to digging now on the mountain. We're going to be free there. Then climb on the mountain. It's how we trust. It's our trust. And then you are working. But if you don't have any trust, man, how? You must have something to believe in. Yeah.
During the evening, more and more small miners joined the campfire. They cooked, ate and laughed together. For dinner they have porridge with canned meat, and they drink tea.
Yeah, that one.
This one. Yeah, of course.
That's cool. Good night.
The next morning. The peacefulness is indescribable. The small miners told us not to leave the mine by ourselves because of the high risk of falling from a great height. Hast du die Tür zugemacht? At breakfast, we hear news that there is a large mine they are currently working on. The trail is dangerous. Often we are told to stay on the granite surface and not to step on the gravel.
Everything alright?
Yes, everything alright. The problem, you see Dennis, this is sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look, you see it, it's there.
Yeah.
Not the stone.
Yeah.
Don't look problem.
Just to ask in the solid rock.
After a steep climb into the pit of the mine, the entrance is unsafely cut into the smooth slope. The view is terrific. But the thought of going inside brings up mixed feelings. We have no idea what to expect, but we don't want to stop and ask. Maybe we don't want to know everything before we go in. Finally, with increasing curiosity, we decide to enter. The small miners work here day in and day out. The mountain swallows us.
Don't you have something in your bed?
Huh?
You? I need you to leave it there.
When asked, we are told that through this hose, air is pumped into the mine. Without this, there is insufficient oxygen to survive down there. First, we do not realize the seriousness of the situation. Even when vertically descending into the mine, we are only progressing slowly. After 15 minutes of the descent, we begin to realize our foolishness. This is a seemingly endless descent.
On your shoulder? No. Where? Come down. Good.
Here, okay.
Are you okay?
I'm fine, yeah.
As we descend, they inform us the shaft has a depth of 30 meters.
So, how far is this hole? How many meters?
Oh, 30 meters.
30 meters!
And it stays narrow all the way down.
Yeah.
So you hit this one.
Okay.
Because there, that guy is busy working.
Yeah.
If we get there, he don't get much oxygen.
Oh yeah, because we take all the oxygen.
Yeah.
The camera is not working anymore.
That can tell you that here is no oxygen.
Due to the high humidity, the lens of the main camera becomes fogged.
Yeah, see? It's too wet.
At the bottom, breathing is difficult, as it is hot and stuffy. 2 small miners have already been killed, one through crumbling mines and one due to slipping off the steep slopes. The latest death was only in 2010.
There's no space for me.
Okay, Isana. It's okay. It's okay, man.
The carefree nature of the small miners gives us the confidence not to panic.
Luft.
Slowly we begin to consider climbing back up as our breathing gets increasingly difficult. We cancel the recording and exit the mine.
I thought we want to turn around.
Yeah, we turn around here.
Okay.
I mean, how we get
After
here.
the first 5 meters of climbing, we begin to fully appreciate the depth of the mine. It is slippery and there is little to hold on to. We are no longer progressing and are now stuck at the depth of 20 meters for over an hour. The mountain holds us captive.
Wir sind gerade auf unserem Weg hoch. Ich glaube, wir haben noch nie so etwas Anstrengendes erlebt.
Where are you now?
Aber die Jungs...
Where you are? Where you are, Nick? You're outside now.
Yeah.
The noise of the generator gives us the final power.
Das sind Dennis' letzte Meter bis zum Tageslicht. Vielleicht hat er es geschafft. Dennis!
We have never been happier to see the sunlight as we were in that moment. We are alive. We are exhausted and relieved, but also deeply impressed by these people. Before we walk back to the lodge, we leave the small miners our mattresses and enjoy a feeling of real joy.
Nice sleeping.
Nice sleeping, you see.
Epson, Arnold and Ferdinand accompany us to the way back. They have dreams too. They ask if we can make it possible for them to fly with one of the aircrafts they have seen so often departing from foot of the mountain. We are pleased to be able to give something back for the unforgettable mountain adventure they have taken us on. We spontaneously decided to meet at the Hohenstein Lodge to organize a sightseeing flight. After landing, atmosphere was lively in anticipation. Epson, Ferdinand and Arnold are excited about the flight, and we are still impressed by our experience at the Hohenstein. We have been allowed to see the faces of the Smallminer from the mountain, whose existence we only discovered from observing the small campfire lights at night on the steep granite wall of the Hohenstein. We have been allowed to look into their lives and how they work day to day. We had to say goodbye to our newfound friends. A little sad, we look back as they disappear in the density of the border forest. We say goodbye to the Smallminer of the Hohenstein.